professor is already very interested in you and is willing to give you a verbal offer. At this point, you need to be clear about your own position. Some people immediately say, I don't want this kind of professor, or I don't want someone too old, or I don't want someone too young. This shows that you haven't positioned yourself correctly. Once you've confirmed that someone wants to give you an offer, that's when you move forward and think about how to choose the right professor. We will consider the following aspects. First is the professor's personality, whether your personality matches with the professor's, whether you get along. This will determine whether you'll be happy in the coming years. Another thing is that some students look at the professor's resources, but it still depends on the first point. No matter how many resources the professor has, if he doesn't really like you, or if he tries to manipulate you, or has a bad personality, then it's still not suitable for you. Another aspect is, if funding is very important to you, we need to look at where the scholarship for your PhD offer from this professor is coming from. Because at some schools, the program itself comes with a scholarship. This means the funding doesn't come from the professor's lab. When you get the offer, you directly receive a 5-year PhD scholarship. In this case, you don't need to worry. However, if the research funding comes from the professor's lab, then we need to proactively schedule a meeting with the professor. We should talk to them and sincerely ask, I really want to make sure that during my PhD studies, or within these 5 years, will I continuously receive the scholarship? Are there any risks? If so, what are they? This way, I can take precautions in advance. In other words, have an honest and sincere conversation with the professor about this matter. So, project funding and scholarships are also extremely important.